Welcome to New Game Plus. You're listening to a retro gaming podcast where three guys spend 7 days playing one old game, and then we talk about it. My name's Dustin.
My name's Kenny.
I'm Nolan.
And this is episode 80.
You want me to freak out about it finally getting to a nice round number, don't you?
But you don't.
Well, I want to. It's nice.
You said more about 79 than 80.
Now that we're at 80,
You really
it feels
did.
hollow. Like, now that we're at 80, I feel like we just need to get to 100.
Yeah, we have 20 more episodes before we can feel good about it.
That's nothing. We'll do that in like a week.
That's not how it works. This is episode 80. We are going to be talking about a game called Moonwalker. But before we do that, Nintendo is discontinuing their NES Classic Edition consoles.
Like the re-released ones that they did recently?
Yeah,
Yep.
the little tiny things.
They're not making them anymore.
I don't care. It's okay.
But Kenny has one.
I know, that's great.
So Kenny
awesome.
can sell it for, what, 1,000?
No, I'll tell you why. Because you can emulate every game and more. And
Save it. When I need a kidney, I'll barter for a
I was
kidney.
gonna give
you
a
know
kidney.
I'll give you my kidney, Kenny. I don't need a
Oh,
NES
Look at
console.
that. I got such good friends.
And if you need two, I'll give you my Kenny kidney.
You have one of mine? I don't even know what that is. It make no sense.
They said it was the plan all along. Do you like? Was it really like just make a limited edition of these things? And
All they were doing was wanting people to talk about them.
you
Like,
feel like they weren't.
Nintendo knows what's up. Just stay in the news, do stuff, get people having a conversation. It might literally have been part of the marketing strategy for the Switch.
Yeah, I
Remind
was actually
people that
thinking
they
the same.
exist.
And you know, people who, I guess like us, who are true gamers and have been gaming for a long time, didn't freak out about it because, I mean, one, you can get a Raspberry Pi and build your own that looks exactly the same, that has more games on it, or you can just emulate on your computer. And so it's like, you know, go on eBay and buy an original NES console, which is cooler, and get hard copy games. That's me.
Or you could own both, like this guy.
Yeah,
But how often do you play it?
Somewhat.
I guess when we roll a game that you have, or that
But
we.
hey, to be fair, like you can easily get cartridges for maybe some of these games, but some of them it would be very, very expensive, or you're not going to find cartridges for these games anymore. So
Then emulate it.
Kenny's got one console with a unique controller. Is it a unique controller for that?
It only goes with that unit.
Yeah.
Like you can't use your older controllers with it.
And he's got 30 plus games that he can use. I don't. What are you doing, Nolan?
I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's great. It's like okay, that's great for people who don't have gaming PCs.
Are you gonna have the same opinion on the Switch in a little while?
Heck no.
If you end up not getting one.
No, I think the Switch is awesome. It's just gonna be like 5 years before I can get one.
That's fair.
Well, I just thought it was interesting that they made a limited amount that it was never in the stores for people to actually get. Like they were gone as soon as they got there, and then they're not making them anymore. So the people that just bought extras, those annoying people, they're gonna make their money's worth off of that and be able to sell these for an increased profit. Kenny, will you sell yours or will you keep yours?
No, I'll keep mine.
Good.
Well, they'll at least be able to make a lot of money until the bubble bursts and Nintendo decides to start making them again, which they most definitely will. Speaking of bubbles, Michael Jackson's pet chimpanzee that was a frequent traveling companion of the King of Pop was and is named Bubbles, and he makes an appearance in our Retro Game of the Week, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Dustin, that might have been the best segue you've ever made ever.
Because it
Thank
had
you,
a
Kenny.
monkey in it?
Tip my hat to you. Before we go into overview, Dylan is watching on Twitch. And if you're not watching on Twitch, you're watching this on YouTube at a later time, join us live on Twitch, 10 a.m. CST,
Dylan,
Saturday mornings.
didn't you suggest this game?
Did he?
I think he did. I remember pinning it in Discord. It was either Dylan or
If
Jesse.
he did, that's not a good thing.
No, and it was only a couple weeks ago, too. So.
Well, no, I know Jesse did a couple. Jesse was at least talking about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I think it's been on our list for a little while now.
Okay.
Anyways, if you're in Twitch, feel free to talk in chat, and in between segments, we'll try to reach out to you and see what you guys are doing.
Zion's in there too.
He said, "I hope y'all don't hate me now." It was him that
No,
did it.
I don't hate you at all. Let's get into it.
All right, let's do it. Hey, Tori. So, Moonwalker was a movie that came out in 1988, and it was really just a collection of short films or extended music videos.
That's all it was.
From the now deceased Michael Jackson, may he rest in peace, a moment of silence.
It legitimately wasn't like an actual movie.
Kenny!
Do you know what a moment of silence
You're so
is?
disrespectful.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry.
This man did so much.
I didn't hear you say that. I was thinking about the movie because I hadn't like
Kenny must
looked
zone
at
out
it and
hard.
I've never watched it.
Yeah.
And so
I'm not
when
inviting you to
said
my
that That's how
funeral.
the movie was. It confused me. Okay, let's try this again. You can set up your little moment.
Too
I'll
late.
give it to you, but
No.
you got to explain to me this movie some more.
No, I'm not gonna do it again. That's so bad. Dun 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 dun.
How many times is that going to happen in this episode?
Anyway, someone thought it would be a great idea to take this movie and to make a video game about it. Actually, 2 video games about it. There's an arcade video game, and there is a Sega Genesis video game, and they're closely related, but because of the different consoles, you're doing the same thing. It's the same concept, but you're playing it in a slightly different way because it is arcade and it is console. So both of those were released in 1990, and it's just a beat 'em up game where you traverse various stages from the film, actually. So it is related, it is connected, and you are going around kicking, punching, and dancing with a number of enemies, but we'll talk more about those specifics later.
I feel like kicking and punching doesn't actually do it justice. Like, these are all dance moves that you're doing.
They're all Michael Jackson's
may be like
dance
a kick dance move, but you're not just like running up to an enemy and like kicking them like
Right.
you would if you were an action hero or a thug. Like you're
dance
dancing.
kicking. Dance
Yeah.
kicking.
Okay.
Yeah. And the story loosely follows the film. MJ has to rescue kidnapped children that all look identical from many closets, closed doors, trunks of cars,
It's dark.
and many other things. And he dances towards them. He rescues them. They thank him, and they flee the scene. And it appears as though a guy named Mr. Big had stolen these children, and he always shows up at the end of each stage saying, or laughing
You'll
and
never
saying,
catch me.
you'll never catch me, and then he runs away. Kenny's absolutely lost it.
I laughed so much playing this game this week, and I
Yeah?
didn't realize I was gonna laugh this hard talking about it.
Well,
But as you talked about how, it's
Yeah.
a special game.
the premise of the game, but I'm assuming that's I didn't see the movie. Okay, so did any of you, in preparation for the game this week, watch Moonwalker?
No, I wasn't born.
No, I wish
Yeah.
I had.
Yeah. You weren't born this week?
That's obviously not what I meant.
He doesn't watch any movies that came out before he existed.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time.
So one of the redeeming qualities, I mean, that's the story, right? So one of the redeeming qualities of that is that while you are rescuing these children, you are listening to chip-tuned renditions of some of Michael Jackson's best songs played in the background.
And they actually did a pretty good job of, getting the vibe of those songs in a video gamey format.
Yeah.
I was digging it.
So MJ walks in, he flips the coin, it lands in the jukebox,
That was
and the
dope.
music begins. And
That's such an epic first moment.
yeah, it is. And,
It really is.
and then the game begins.
So I'm assuming we all played the console version this week? Because
Yes.
I did. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to play the arcade version.
I did
and
too.
kind of wish I'd gotten to, but playing arcade games is just significantly
Yes.
more work.
Right.
And so the Genesis was much more accessible.
But I did a fair amount of watching some arcade gameplay, and I really wanted to try that one
I
out.
wanted to too. It looked great.
Yeah. Very different gameplay,
So-
though.
Yeah, let's go into gameplay proper. Hey Zion,
What up,
Yeah.
dude?
Dylan said
Hey,
moment
did
of
you
silence, and then Kenny. Hey, did you guys?
Sometimes I don't pay attention.
I know that's bad on a
This isn't
podcast,
news.
Kenny. That's
I
not
think we're
good.
frozen on Twitch. Are we frozen on Twitch?
No,
Okay.
I don't know. Assuming not.
All right.
How you two?
Let's pick up in gameplay.
'Kay.
One of you want to take us?
Sure.
I like how Nolan said sure and then didn't say
I was
anything.
volunteering you, Kenny.
No, that's not how that works. I've been more annoying this episode. You're
All right.
totally off.
So the gameplay is fairly platformer-ish, I guess, but it's a beat 'em up game. You're not button mashing, but you're kicking your way through enemies, and when you kick, though, sparkles come out of your shoe like magic, and
And they're super powerful.
yeah, and
Yeah, they
you
are.
can you do his dance moves. They did a great job. I posted some pixel art this week on our Twitter of, I think someone made this themselves, but it's based off the game, and the developers did a good job with animating his dance moves. Like you can,
Oh,
you-
it looks so like him.
that kick that he does, like it
Mhm.
looks just like the one he does. It was very impressive as far as your dance moves / fighting moves go.
It
But yeah.
wouldn't surprise me, and I don't know, but I know he gets Michael Jackson himself gets creator inspiration credit on all of these games. I wonder if he was actually involved in quality and giving things a thumbs up.
Yeah,
Ultimate.
I would bet that he did not, but that would
I don't
be
know. It sounds
crazy
like
impressive.
Do you remember
kind
the
of thing
premise
he
of the
does.
game? Like this, I feel like he's
Yeah, okay,
I
you're
don't
right,
know.
you're right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Who else would have come up with this game that was this
That's a
plot?
good point.
But it's Michael Jackson rescuing
Okay.
kids and then turning into a robot. Can we talk about
Wait,
that? 'Cause
already?
That's at
Already?
the end of the game.
You're already going there?
Kenny,
Well,
you
that's
can't
such
just
a highlight.
jump in. First, you kill a moment of silence, and then you talk about the last
But
battle.
No, not when he turns into the ship. You turn into a robot.
Okay, fine. You brought it up. You turn
That was-
into a Michael
that was
Mech,
different. Yeah.
and you shoot laser beams out of your eyeballs. It's awesome. This
and
game,
you have a fire-propelled jetpack.
Yeah.
Exactly.
it's super
Why
OP
wouldn't
and
you?
amazing because it's so out of place. And when it happens, you freak out. Well,
and
I don't know the
think
movie
I
though.
think it's random. I don't think it's on a particular stage.
I don't think so. A comet fell down and I grabbed it, and then I turned into it.
Right, a comet falls down. A blue comet falls down out of the sky on random stages, and if you catch it or if you grab it for a large duration of time, you become this mech, and you go around and you can wipe out enemies fairly easily. But
Can we
what?
Can we call it Michael Jackson?
We can. You can. I won't.
Perfect.
Because that's terrible.
a moment of silence.
Yeah. But anyways, like Dustin
Anyways.
said, I hate both of you so much.
This game was so funny. I can't stop
Okay,
laughing
okay.
just thinking about it.
Every stage had one of his songs. So the first one is Smooth Criminal. And like Kenny said, I agree. It sounded great. I thought the music was pretty spot on.
Yeah, it really was.
And it helped me dance my way through. It motivated me to do some kicks. So
And it's a good thing that the music was good because the stages get fairly long and get fairly frustrating
Yeah.
fairly quickly. So
Yeah.
here's the
Yeah.
setup. It's pretty much with each stage there's 3 levels.
yeah, it's tiered.
And so I mean like a lot of these early games it's stage 1-1, stage 1-2, stage 1-3, and then you'll move to stage 2-1. So that's how it's set up. And guys, I thought that it was pretty much the exact same thing, just more stories of the building and just more kids to rescue.
It's
That's
definitely a
basically
little
it.
repetitious.
A lot of repetitions.
It doesn't really
yeah.
change up until you get to the third. The one, I guess it's the fourth, the Billie Jean stage where you're kind of in the caverns. But
Yeah, that's-
it's still just tiered
Even then, you
levels.
stay there for quite a long
Yeah,
time. There's variety between each level, but each level you're in that environment and scene for a long time. And you got to find these kids, and maybe I'm just bad at hide and seek, but I'm not, because I'm awesome at it in real life. But I always couldn't find one of them. And then you're just running around for ages trying to find this one kid that could be in a trunk or behind a door or in a bush. You don't even know where. Like,
and they add things, so like for the meta for the first few stages are open doors and you'll find the kids, and then I think on the third level of that stage you have to then start opening windows because there's one of the kids behind a window, and you didn't how you haven't been opening windows, right? And then at that point you're probably like, I'm just gonna press up and try to open every single thing. By the way,
then a bunch of stuff doesn't open, and you get to do an awesome signature dance move every time you miss it.
Which I was about to say, and Kenny jumped in there to just rob it immediately.
I'm stealing that thunder.
So yes, you can dance kick, you can dance hit, but you can also just press up. Doesn't do any damage to any characters, but it does the classic crotch grab that Michael Jackson does, and then gets on his tiptoes. So doesn't add any fighting content to the game, but it does add
it's appreciated
to the game.
Yeah, it's content. And I know why Kenny laughed so much this week, because I laughed so hard too. And it's because it's because the sound effects are great. It's Michael screaming, doing his little
hit it, Kenny.
No, I can't do it. I tried earlier, and my impression is terrible. I feel like Nolan has a really good impression though.
Not of Michael Jackson. I don't think anyone does. It's
Nolan,
signature.
You're good at any impression that you do.
I'm not going to do one because I know that it will be silly.
But then, like, every loading screen, and there's that little graphic, and he opens his mouth, and it's awesome.
So funny. Oh, gosh. I forgot about that.
Thank you.
It's a still image of Michael, pixel art version, but his mouth does this, like, realistic move when he screams. It's so
realistic.
Funny.
It's not realistic at all. It just opens.
Oh, no, it's realistic.
It's like...
No, it's more detailed. You need to go back and watch, because they actually made it move the way that a mouth would if he did that noise.
All right, let's take a moment to actually talk about the mechanics. So we talked about kind of the stage setups. So you've got this bar down at the bottom that is blue, and it took me a while to realize that because I guessed that it would be my life bar, but it took me a while to realize that my life bar was connected to my special ability.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So you've got hit and you've got kick, but you've also got this special, and you can. What's really cool, honestly, is that there's different holds, which causes your special to react in different ways. And you've got a small, medium, and long hold. You know that? Right. Like, did you guys get that?
I didn't get that deep into the mechanics. No, it was more accidental.
No, so, yeah, I mean, it was accidental for me, but after playing a while,
you at least figured out your like super strong like dance move though, right? At least.
Yeah, the hat throw was one, right?
No, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the medium hold. And small hold just causes you to twirl.
The spin?
Spin.
Okay.
And hit, and that pretty much wipes out the enemies that are in front of you, at least if they're one-hit enemies. And then medium hold causes you to spin and then toss your hat.
So sick looking.
And then it comes back to you like a boomerang.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
And then long hold. Oh man, long hold.
Can we just talk about this?
Long hold when you... Okay, so your boss fights, by the way, are typically not a single boss, but they're just a horde of enemies coming at you. And so if you save your special until the final fight of that level, and then long hold your special ability. Oh gosh, like how? How do you?
I love that. Like there's that much hype about this.
And the enemies stop fighting you. They all line up on either side of Michael Jackson. The music starts playing, and they do one of the signature dance sequences from the movie, from the music videos, and then
they die.
They all fall over dead.
Assuming they're weak enough. There's some bosses and stronger characters that
you might have to hit
just it's a big hit, and then you have to hit them some more.
But
that's
great.
Like your big strong move. It's like an X-Men, the Colossus, where you like hit everything on the screen, but it does it in this amazing way that involves everyone in like a dance-off with Michael, and of course they lose because nobody is gonna win that.
It's so funny that I'm looking now. It's like Michael Jackson was the producer and the designer of the game. Okay, I don't know if he pointed that out. So he was like, I want a dance routine in there but you don't have any allies, so let's just steal the enemies for a second and then kill them afterwards.
What's beautiful is that not only humanoid enemies line up and do this with you, but
yeah,
the arachnid spiders, the dogs.
Dogs cracked me up.
Dogs
cracked me up so hard.
I didn't do it with the dogs.
The zombies, you can make do the Thriller dance. It's I don't know. It was amazing.
One of them so one of them I was playing, and then I think it's random which dance routine they do. I don't think it's stage based, but
I believe it is, but I don't.
Either way, they did that one dance where Michael Jackson leans forward at an angle that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And he ended the dance routine that way, and so all of the zombies that I were playing, they leaned over that way, and then they just fell down dead.
They just fall to the ground dead.
I mean,
it's so OP, right?
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
Yeah, because that's supposed to be the final wave of enemies at the end, the hard part, and then you're like, nope.
Well, I mean, you can use it at any time as long as you've got enough health. And that's what I was saying, that your health is connected to your special ability. So the first time I died, I just used my special ability too much. But you get a surplus, especially in the early levels, of refillable energy whenever you rescue a child by opening the door, or opening the trunk of a car. You get a little bit of refill on your blue bar.
And do they skate away? What happens?
No, they get on one of those meteorites.
That's what the blue thing is? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, please someone talk about after you've rescued all the kids, what happens?
No, I'm not.
No, someone.
No. Because
I'll do it.
Okay.
Do it. You're hyped.
As soon as you rescue, and I guess you're not following me. Maybe that's what it is. As soon as you rescue the final kid, in each level, a monkey, which I couldn't tell was the monkey for the longest time, Bubbles, flies in on a blue meteor and lands on top of Michael Jackson, but I realized then it was on his shoulders.
I thought that was another kid.
No, I didn't know what it was at
that'd
first.
be weird.
Because it's not animated real well.
Even weirder.
No one thought
it's so good. No, yes, because that's
why. Already it borders on creepy.
It's not.
Borders?
It's not creepy. Y'all are cynical.
Nolan.
Okay, Nolan. I know I'm jumping to the other game a little bit, but this was so ridiculous and so Michael Jackson, of course he's saving kids, creepy, that I had to end of the arcade game. When you get to the very end, there's a scrolling credits that explains what happens.
Yeah.
And it's basically what happened to the kids that he saved? And it goes on to read. Let me read this to you. It says, well, they're smiling because deep down in their hearts, they know that Michael will return one day to share with them another wondrous and magical adventure.
Hey, that's
how
it's fine. No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's just ridiculous.
You say what you need to, Nolan.
Oh,
but
God.
At least Bubbles does make an appearance, and you can't tell that he's Bubbles because of that's not the best animation, but also how do you animate a really small chimp that just gets on Michael Jackson's shoulders and points towards where the boss is going to be? But goodness, either way, the whole game concludes with Michael Jackson storming the enemy base, which is kind of like a SWAT team, which is, a little bit more kind of weird that he's taking out these SWAT police officer type things and rescuing the children from them.
Yeah, because they have all the kids.
And then to get Mr. Mr. Big flies off in a spaceship, and Michael Jackson either turns into or gets in a spaceship of his own. The game goes first person, and you chase Mr. Big's spaceship throughout space and until you destroy it. Yep, that's how the game ends. So,
I'm telling you, I could have told you that Michael Jackson was involved in writing this game without having seen those credits. When you look at the plot and the dance moves and the way the music's in it and what he's doing and the fact that he's turning into a robot and then getting into a spaceship, that's straight up Michael Jackson level. Just the way he viewed the world completely.
I just see him sitting there talking to the designers, and they're like, "Yeah." And at this point, I would love to.
That's not a Michael Jackson voice.
I'm not trying to.
He did a little bit.
It had a little Michael vibe in it.
I was just softening a little bit. But at this point, could I just turn into a mechanical robot and be able to shoot lasers out of my eyes. And
a la Gundam.
Are you sure, Michael? Is this what you want?
Yeah, that's what
I want. Okay, all right, let's do it. Like, I mean,
you don't tell him no, even if you're a game developer.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Michael Jackson's hands all over this video.
Stop! Y'all are the worst people ever. Okay.
Let's move on to talk about the age of this game. But before we do it...
Yeah, I don't know why the video is not in sync. It should catch back up, okay?
Yeah, the last couple of times our recording has been...
It's internet connection. Unfortunately.
It's the internet?
Yeah.
Take a sip of coffee. Thank you guys for watching live on Twitch and playing this game with us.
And later on YouTube.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Let's talk about the age of Moonwalker.
Okay. Now, I'm going to look at a couple different categories of the game. So art, I'll start with art. I love it. And it holds up. And the animations are top tier for that time. Like,
surprisingly well animated.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty good.
Smooth, too. Like, it didn't stutter for me.
Smooth Criminal.
No, not Smooth Criminal. I saw your stupid smirk when I said that. Just looks great. And plays great, too. Like, jumping around is smooth. Using your moves is smooth. I don't know. I am very impressed by the animations in this game. Sega did a great job.
You're moving your head back and forth. Animation?
I agree. Like, the animations looked great, but there were also some visual things that just were, I don't know, a little clunky. A few of the interfaces, going upstairs was kind of hard. I couldn't even figure it out the first time. It takes a little while to kind of get the feel of the timing. That's true of all games of this variety, but it didn't feel quite as natural as I hoped it would have. But it was well done. It looked good. I don't think anybody would look at this game and say it's bad.
The music also, as we've already mentioned, spot on.
We all agree on that one.
They did a great job adapting that to a 16-bit format. Now, where the age is just ugly and terrible for me is the level design. It's a terrible level design. I hate that tiered system. Animaniacs did that too. And it was okay in that game, I guess.
Mean like different floors of a building?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, instead of just going side to side, having like lots of up and down.
Like floors, not like platforming. That's okay. You can go up, but this is like segmented floors and staircases, like Kenny said. I don't really think that's good level design.
I'm not opposed to that as long as you get diversity, but you don't get diversity here. Like the first three stages are the same, just more floors, more tiers. The second stage, all of those are the garage for the most part, and that's or maybe that's a third, and it's just all the same. There's very little diversity, so you're just doing the same thing over and over, and you're seeing the same thing. So there's a pool table here, there's a pool table on the next floor. There's an arcade cabinet here, an arcade cabinet on the next floor. What I do like, and which was very surprising also, is that you can use some of the stage elements to attack people. Like you can kick a chair and it will slide across the ground and hit an enemy.
Yeah, that was impressive for sure.
So there's some things about the level design that was fun, but yeah, level design felt extremely flat compared to animation and music.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we also have to just talk about the fact that it's a Michael Jackson game in terms of how it's aged. I know he's an icon for anyone that was around him, that lived through the 80s, maybe through the early 90s, but like definitely a lot of folks, a lot of the people that, may be interested in our opinions on old games that are getting into these games for the first time because they weren't around to experience retro games, I don't feel like are going to have a connection to the music, to Michael Jackson, his character, his whole demeanor, kind of who he is, why anyone would even make a video game about it. And so I think there's a big segment of the population that might just have a hard time caring at all.
Disagree.
I mean, I know he's super, super iconic, but like...
I don't know. Why do you disagree?
He was that big, and he always will be. I think he always will be. And
But people today are not going to have the connection.
Well, a 13 or 14-year-old's not going to play this game. It'll be not necessarily. It'll be older people. A lot of people won't even play the game. So if you do play the game, you know who Michael Jackson is, and you know his dance moves. The moonwalk, you think will one day fall flat on someone?
Like, I'm not saying he's not crazy iconic and that he didn't, put his imprint on culture and people will generally know who he is. But I think it's just a different thing with people who didn't live through that versus people who really care. It's almost like looking back and seeing something historical and going okay, yeah, this guy was weird, versus okay, I get it, this is a Michael Jackson game. So I'm just saying it might be a hurdle for some people.
He touched a lot of people, but there are many today that won't have any connection to the game because
I hate both of you.
They're never touched by his music. So, another thing that I thought was great. There's a great amount of diversity between the enemies, which so they put a lot of work into that because you've got so many different things, including creatures and animals and zombies and humans and SWAT team. There's some, and they have different they animated dance moves for every single one of those things.
Dogs
and they all have
and the animals.
Yeah, and they have different attacks and everything. So that's fun, and they each kind of have their own creative purpose. But yeah, I think the thing. I think it's just an awkward game to play today because of some of the aging factors. I don't think there's enough story. I think it's way too repetitive, and I think that is going to grate on modern gamers today.
So, do we give it New Game Plus? I'm excited to see where we land on this.
I'm not going first.
I'm going to go first. New Game Plus is our general thumbs up or thumbs down, and it does require 2/3 of the vote to swing one way or the other. For me, I'm just going to come right out and say no, I don't give it my vote for New Game Plus. I think it's an awkward game. I think it's funny. I mean, I laughed, Kenny laughed, Nolan laughed, we're still laughing. It's a ridiculous game. But it's not near as bad as I expected. Coming into this, I thought it was going to be terrible too. When you talk about it not only being based on Michael Jackson at all, but then based on a movie that he did, we've seen so many just money grab games that are just based on the movie that are terrible. That's usually a big old red flag that there's going to be no actual care to make a game good. Yeah, and I didn't feel that vibe here. Well, and most movie games are not good, just in and of themselves, no matter how good the movie is. In our experience, we found some of that to be the case with Home Alone and others. But sure, you can make a good movie game, but this game felt completely unnecessary. It didn't need to be made, and in making it, it felt somewhat forced and just awkward. And it was the same thing over and over again. You play the first stage and you pretty much know what the rest of the game holds. You're doing the exact same thing in every single stage, just with a different background and different enemies. So I do not give this game my vote for New Game Plus status.
All right, I'm jumping in. So Michael Jackson had I have to watch how I word this because y'all are going to twist it. Michael Jackson helped the developers make this game, and he had a say in a lot of it, okay? And he helped make a better game than a lot of games that I've played by actual developer companies. Now, I know Sega was who developed it, so you've got a huge team behind you, that's fine. However, I had way more fun with this game than I did with plenty of other games that professional developers have failed to make a good game. All the reasons I've said. I love the animation, the music was great. Level design sucked, but I could get over it because the care that was put into animating your character, the smooth controls, a big thing for me is navigating the stage smoothly and not feeling clunky. I didn't. Felt fine. Hilarious. Almost self-aware, but I don't think so. I think it was just Michael Jackson. But it's so funny.
Yeah.
And so entertaining. I thought I was super surprised by this game. And so all the good things outweigh the level design hiccup for me. And it's a short game. I got through it fairly quickly, and it was fun for what it is. New Game Plus, easy.
Why does Kenny always get to be the determining factor? That's probably the worst part of this podcast.
Yeah, we've done that like 2 weeks in a row now. We need to stop.
You guys just have to agree or disagree so that my vote doesn't matter sometimes. But apparently lately it does. I'm still this one I'm torn on again too.
Oh my
because
gosh.
right.
Gosh,
No, you're
Nolan,
both
you
right.
made it happen. He's gonna talk for
No,
about 10
Kenny
minutes
needs
now.
to decide
No,
before
I'm
we
not- okay, I'll
record.
keep it short.
I agree.
Dustin's correct. The game is super repetitive as an actual game.
We cannot give this game New Game Plus status.
But
Kenny.
it's
Hang
but
on,
it's
you
okay
can't
on that
influence him like that. Let him talk.
All right. It is hilarious.
Yes.
It's so funny. Clearly, care went into it. The music's fun. I found myself being entertained and wanting to go back and play some more. And so this one's definitely right in the balance. I will say this. If we had played the arcade version of it, I'm confident that I would have given it New Game Plus hands down.
so, yeah.
From the little bit that I saw and experienced, that game is sick. If you ever walk into an actual like arcade and get to see Michael Jackson's Moonwalker like on the cabinet, go spend $10, turn them into quarters, and you'll thank me. If you gotta choose an old game to play though, the gameplay just ends up mattering too much here, and I gotta agree. Dustin's right. This one's hilarious. I think you guys should be familiar with it. Go watch a little bit of it, listen to some of the music, check out a YouTube clip where you can see all the hilarious dancing. But in terms of like getting into the game itself and playing and having fun for the game's sake, it's just not strong enough for me.
Wow.
Too repetitive. It's a hard place to land because I really did have fun and I laughed so much and it was a fun game to talk about. And so I don't know. I'm torn, but I'm gonna say negative on the Genesis version.
You guys have such bad opinions.
Oh, this game is not our lover.
That wasn't even good.
Is Billie Jean.
Did you guys beat it?
No,
The game.
I got very far.
That's the jokes.
Yeah,
I had one
okay.
earlier and no one even missed it, but
No one even missed it.
Finally,
so we all got
I
it.
got you
everybody
guys.
caught it. Everybody listening knows what I'm talking
All
about.
right. So this game, Moonwalker, does not get our vote for New Game
Idiots.
Plus status. But
Ugh.
does it get yours? We got a few. We got one viewer interaction suite letting us know their thoughts on the game. And we had some of you chat with us in Discord and some on social media about the game. But we got one email from William saying, "I love Michael Jackson's music, but this game ruins my childhood memories of the songs. The movie was even fine, but the game was definitely not. Moonwalker can be summed up very easily. This game is bad, really, really bad." I didn't do that one. He did that one, so.
I mean, look.
Nolan, are you
For-
in love
hey-
with this game?
He's in love with this
No, I
game.
just think that
This
y'all are
is
so
just
wrong,
the favorite
because-
game we've played so far.
No, your reasons are bad. I get the level design. I'm with you on that. But like, no one's gonna know who Michael Jackson is and want to
No
play
one
it.
said that.
What? Kenny said that.
Wasn't my
Kenny
I
was
said it
saying that
a
no one's gonna
reality
care
of
about him.
Talking about how the game aged. That had nothing to do with whether or not I gave it New Game Plus status or not.
But still, but you said it. Look, because it was a movie, which was a bad idea in the first place, Michael, and this game's based on that bad movie. It's not a bad game. It should be way worse. It should be way worse. And
Agreed.
but not even like, oh, it should be worse than it is. It was fun to me, so whatever. Okay.
Well,
I love it. I think it's the most solid
Okay.
Nolan's ever been about disagreeing with us.
and it's about Moonwalker. Kenny,
Listen, sometimes you're gonna get it wrong. I am still to this day upset about Civilization 2 and you guys having no clue what you're talking about when it comes to video games at all. And so you can handle one, Nolan.
and I'm just upset that Kenny didn't give Monster Rancher 2 his vote for New Game Plus status after he
So
kept me up
we're all
all
salty.
night.
That's the
All
way
right.
it goes.
Well, let's put this one to rest. Moonwalker is no longer. If you typically agree with Nolan, go find a copy.
No
of this
one
game
ever
and see
does.
what you think.
Promise.
But if you just want to take our New Game Plus status, then move on to the next game, which we're going to find out what it is now. At the end of each and every episode, we randomly select for a new retro game of the week from our retro master list. which is incomplete but ever growing. You can send in your game suggestions to ngppodcast@gmail.com. The game simply must be 15 years old or older and can be on any console or system. The game that we are playing next, we will find out as soon as this randomizer stops spinning.
Right after this break. We made a wheel. It's like a physical thing. You ever seen Wheel of Fortune? Yeah, it's not that big.
You sounded like a train, Dustin.
It's twice as small.
The sigh is real.
I don't know if this is happening.
Womp womp. Kenny, are you about to pee yourself?
Is this not real life?
This whole thing was a dream.
I'm so confused by this reaction. I'm don't know to be excited or worried, or if we're playing another Michael Jackson game.
Oh, please.
I don't know what's going on.
There's a reaction because I'm so unfamiliar with this game and had to do a little bit of light reading before I could present it to you. But the game is a run and gun shooter. And it was published by Sega. That's 2 in a row.
Nice.
And it was on the Genesis, which that means that it's 2 in a row.
I do like Genesis titles generally.
The game is called Gunstar Heroes.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Came out in 1993, and the graphics look impeccable.
Sega, boy. Genesis.
Very colorful, full of great sprites.
Not surprised.
This game, just by looks, appears to be something that's going to be great. I really hope that it is.
I hope so too. I may have played this one. The name doesn't ring a bell, but I played a lot of Genesis games. I rented plenty of them, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm not surprised that it looks beautiful. Genesis got it right.
Yeah, so play Gunstar Heroes with us this week, and we'll all 3 try it for the first time. It's so interesting that obviously we played a lot of games, but there's so many more games that we have yet to play, and so many that we haven't even heard of.
Yep, it's crazy.
Like Moonwalker.
Oh, wow.
All right, we're moving on to Gunstar Heroes this week, and if you want to play along with us, we'd love for you to do that. You can actually talk to us real time about the Retro Game of the Week. You can talk to us about other things as well. We're celebrating one of our viewers right now because Antonin just had his 2nd child, and that is a great thing.
Man.
Super cool.
Yeah. And so we do that inside of our Discord channel. So you can find those links on social media sites as well as our website. It's a completely free program. It's so light. You can download it to your phone and just check in with us throughout the week. Kenny's in there talking to people regularly, and we'd love to check up with you on the daily.
I mean, Kenny, it's true.
I'm getting thrown under the bus.
Kenny, you stay
probably the least consistent,
under the bus.
But I like reading what everybody else has to say.
You can find us on our social media, as I've mentioned, Facebook and Twitter. That's at NGP Podcast /NGP Podcast. Listen directly to us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Music, or any other podcast provider. Make sure that you subscribe so you are the first to get new NGP episodes, which come out every Monday morning. And then you can also go to patreon.com /NGP Podcast. That is our extra bonus content. This week, we released a first play of this game, Moonwalker, my experience with the first few levels and stages of this unique game. So if you want to see my reactions and my face, then, well, I guess that is how you see my reactions. Then you can go to our patreon.com /NGP Podcast, and you can sign up to get some of that early content. We'll release it to the masses sometime soon.
Yeah.
As always, big shout out to our highest level Patreon supporters, Zion and Bradley. Your producer level status really helps us do what we do and continue doing it well. We're always having conversations about ways to continue improving the quality of what we do, and you guys should see some tangible results of some of that here in just the brief future. So thanks to all of you guys that support us, and thanks for supporting us by giving us your time, playing games with us, listening to our episodes, just sharing in the fun of retro games with us in whatever way that you do. You guys are all absolutely wonderful.
Sure. And we genuinely mean that. We're not doing. You don't start a podcast to get rich, and that's not what we're in it for. But we are in it to create some fun content for people that like to play older video games, and people that want to keep the respect and love alive for how far we've come in gaming.
Yeah.
And so thank you for joining with us, and thank you for everything you do to support us and make this possible. Join us next week as we play Gunstar Heroes. Until then, I'm still Dustin.
I'm Kenny.
Michael.
And this has been a